From the Golden Tower of the Fisher Building, this is the great voice of the Great Lakes. News Talk 760. WJR Detroit.
All right. First, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say thanks for, having us here in your office and the hospitality. I really appreciate us sitting down like this. It's been a while.
Been a while, Lloyd, and I appreciate you being here. Looking forward to it.
A touchy subject, and the subject of your press secretary, Matt Allen. We all know what happened with Matt and everything, and I know it's a personal issue, but you released a statement on it after it happened. Have you spoken to him? What's the status?
Well, of course I don't want to talk about that. I just simply stick with the statements I made earlier, that this matter has to be a tremendously painful experience for him and his entire family. And I just send my prayers out to his family. I mean, at this point, his job status hasn't changed. We're going to continue to make sure that Matt gets what he needs to get healed. And then come back here and talk to Matt about the future here with the city of Detroit, and then Matt's future as a whole. I mean, I'm looking forward to having that conversation. And like I said, my prayers go out to him.
In your first term and even into this second term, this situation with the whistleblower lawsuit and all that has almost been like an albatross around your neck, this time. It's done. The jury said what they said. There was a verdict. There was a payout that you could have appealed, and this could have been drawn out longer and longer, but you decided not to. Are you happy that this is finally behind you now?
Yeah, I am.
And can the city move on?
City can move forward. And that's the sentiment that I get when I go out in the community. It's the sentiment that I get when I go in churches. People wanted this behind us. It was the last thing from the first term, and now we can actually turn the page on Kwame Kilpatrick's first administration and move into the second administration, what we do now. And so, I also, pray for the families of all of the individuals on the other side. I had to let go of some of my anger and pride and say, let's move forward. And that's what we're doing. There was an election on Tuesday. We have some new mayors in some of the metro area, one of which is Jim Fouts over in Warren. And the city of Detroit and Warren's relationship has been contentious at best. I mean, there's been some issues, the water and city airport expansion in the past. Will you reach out to Jim Fouts? Have you spoken to him? I haven't spoken to him yet. I will. I just got his number today, and I'm going to reach out to him tomorrow. I'm looking forward to talking to him. He's going to have enough issues of being mayor of Warren. I mean, being mayor is a job that's tough anyway, and he's going to have to be on the grind. It's hard moving from council to mayor, and he's going to have some tremendous things that he has to learn and has to juggle himself. But I think one of the things that we have to realize is that we all didn't get here on the same ship, but we're in the same boat now. Michigan and southeastern Michigan in particular, if it's going to be strong and be an economic power, come back or have a renaissance, then we all have to work together. So I'm definitely reaching out to Mayor Fouts and all the other candidates that won. I have a list of about 10 mayors I have their numbers now on a call list, and I'm going to reach out to all of them this week. Is Craig Colby one of them, the new mayor of Ferndale? Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to him as well. I congratulate him. I think he'll be a great representative of his community. I liked his words. I read a little bit about him after the election, and the city of Ferndale, it's a high place. It really is. It's a nice little community. There are a lot of similar issues that we have, particularly when it comes to roads. It's an older suburban area, so fix it first campaigns, getting our correct proportion of transportation dollars from the Fed and the state. I think there are a lot of areas, the bridge on Woodward, and how we manage some of those situations. I believe 8 Mile is where the city of Detroit and Ferndale, where we meet. It's not the divide. It's where we meet, and we should have conversations along those lines. There was also folks voting on the fact that they believe that the state should be paying some of that deficit that was acquired while they had the school system in the city of Detroit. You agree with that? I absolutely do. The state would have benefited if it went the other way and took all the credit for it. The state came in after the takeover like they were the great savior of our school system. And never really listened to any deliberation and conversation about how we really manage this problem together. And so, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I voted for that. I'll reveal my vote on that. I think that the state, by Constitution, says that it's in charge of public education in this state. It guarantees every child a right to a public education. It said that it will fully fund public education in this state. And if they mess that up, then they should put back the money.
You have been out with Connie Calloway, the superintendent of Detroit schools, in some events recently, and I'm sure you've spoken to her. What is your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Connie Calloway? She hasn't been in the media too much. She's gone to the newspaper. She hasn't gone to the electronic media very much. But you've spoken to her. Your thoughts? I
think she's learning still. This is a large, expansive organization. I mean, this is a couple $1 billion organization, 18,000 employees, teaching 100,000 children, numerous employees from, teachers to custodians, from, career professionals and counseling to executive administrators. And she is now getting her arms around the organization. And so I'm looking forward to talking with her later this month to just talk about strategy and what she wants me to help her with. How does the city work better with the school system? How do we partner to do different things? And so I wish her well. At this point, I don't really know much about what her day-to-day activity is. We haven't talked to that degree, but I'm looking forward to our meeting later this month so we can start figuring out now, is there some help that she needs from me, assistance? Is there property issues that we could deal with together, security issues? I'm looking forward to it. So I just wish her well. She has a big job to do, and I'm just glad that she's over there diving in with both feet to say, let's get it done.
The residents of the state of Michigan and the city of Detroit, a lot of them just really ticked off about what's been going on up in Lansing, about how long it's taken for us to deal with this budget situation. It shouldn't have taken this long. And the different taxes now, and the service tax, and, the business tax, and this one and that one, and then finger pointing. You did it, and I'm not going to do it. And how is it going to affect Detroit? First of all, before that, your thoughts on just that whole how that played out, and how is it going to affect Detroit now, the budget?
Well, first, it's no secret now that Lansing has changed. The people who used to work there, all of us, we've been saying that for a long time. Term limits has definitely substantially negatively impacted the institution. The institutional memory is gone. The way in which you conduct yourselves in a nonpartisan fashion is gone. And then you have a lot of legislators that are learning on the fly how to manage this multi-billion-dollar state budget, and then trying to figure out how this $9 billion of GF that they're trying to work with right now will be spent and be managed. It's a tremendous task for people who've never been executive, who've never run their own business, who've never had to manage the bottom line. And so this is an enormous task for people who only been there. Some people have only been there 9 months, 10 months. And you say, okay, fix the state. So, this is a huge task, monumental task. But at the same time, hey, you raised your hand, you went out, you worked for it, you got to get it done. And so we need to see some action. I'm real nervous about cities in general. I am the mayor of Detroit, but I really care about all cities. There are about 12 cities in Michigan, 12 or 13 cities that make up 89% of the gross domestic product of this state. Mm-hmm. And if cities don't work, then the state doesn't work. And what's been happening, from the 1960s on, there's been this notion that we could just improve areas around cities and the core city wouldn't matter anymore. Well, we saw that didn't work. And so we have to now, and what we're seeing is now there's more of a focus in the region from businesses. There's more focus from our organizations and philanthropic organizations and institutions on building the city to create wealth for our state. I'm hopeful that the state is a part of that plan and not an inhibitor to that plan. And so, I'm nervous. I'm nervous that you don't have enough people in there to understand revenue sharing, that understand the state budget enough to be able to, really implement it well and start to make emotional decisions out of partisanship. And so I'm talking to everybody. I'm willing to meet with anybody. I'm willing to go anywhere. Because what we've started here, there's a spark right now in the city of Detroit. There's something happening here. There's real momentum being created, and we don't want to be cut off by our own state, the people who should be pulling with us.